issues that we are facing is a lot of the pushback from the gay and the trans community. So we're not saying here that those individuals should be oppressed. We're not saying that those individuals should be hurt. But the problem is that the rights of one group of people does not allow them to start infringing on the rights of others. So we as Muslims, if we want to protect our sons, we want to protect our daughters, and we want them to have spaces where they are comfortable changing, we want them to have spaces where they're comfortable praying, we want them to have spaces where they're comfortable practicing their religion, they have a right to that. Just like those students have a right, our students, our children also have that right. So these meetings are always going to be important, and this is why we take part in them. Saying that, there is one issue that I think is important that is directly related to education. And that is, how do we deal with our children going to school here when they want to pursue higher education? And this is a problem that many of us face. School has become, or college has become almost unaffordable. It's extremely expensive. There are very few people who are actually able to pay out of pockets for many of the programs that are found in many of these colleges, many of these universities. AMJA, or the American Muslim Jurists of America, they've actually issued a fatwa where they've allowed people to take student loans in order to pay for their education. And then you have other scholars who've said, no, any type of loan that is interest-bearing is not permissible to take. The basis of the fatwa that says that you can't do it, it's very clear to them that this is something that's ribawi, this is something that involves usury, therefore it is not permissible to get involved. The MJ fatwa is based more off this idea that in Islam there are 5 things, there are 5 maqasid, there are 5 goals of the Sharia. One of those goals is hifd al-aql, preserving the intellectual integrity of the Muslim community. In order to preserve that intellectual integrity, it's very important for our sons and daughters, not everyone, right, because there are different stratas and different levels of people, but to at least allow that opportunity for our students to go and study in these different fields. Is it necessary for everyone to go to college? Absolutely not. But this is our job as parents to determine if my child has this ability, to help him gauge and to see his trajectory. We need a number of different positions throughout our community, right? We need journalists, we need doctors, we need plumbers, we need welders, we need lawyers, we need all of these different types of people. And to bring these different types of people in, these different types of specialists, we need to allow them to study. Now, are there limitations in what they should study and what they should do? I believe there are. Just because my child wants to study drama, or just because my child wants to study gender studies, or all of these arts degrees, will this child now have the ability to pay back that loan? Usually not. If you look statistically, they're not able to. Versus if they go into engineering, versus if they go into teaching, into education, versus if they go into healthcare. All of these different professions will actually allow them to pay back that loan within a very short period of time. Not just that, there are programs that will actually forgive student loans. So this loan is not a normal type of loan where they're making money off of it, because usually federal loans are very low in their return and their interest. So it's very important for us to understand what this is, how to utilize it. So in general, I advise everyone, if you plan on sending your child or your son or your daughter to college, or if they have an interest in it, we as parents have to co-sign on that loan, right? Otherwise they're not going to get it. I would say I would co-sign on my son or daughter's loan with 2 conditions. Number 1, if I see potential. If they did well, if I see them working hard, and I can see that they can actually fulfill it, then this is one condition I would put forward. Secondly, the field that they're choosing and that they're going into, that they can pay it back in a reasonable time. And a reasonable time to me is with 5 to 7 years. I think that's a very reasonable time to pay back that loan. If these 2 conditions are fulfilled, I, as a father, would have no problem co-signing the loan. If my son or daughter don't fulfill these 2 conditions and they still want to go forward, I would say, Allah yuwaffaqak. If you want to get a loan by yourself, go for it, but this is not something that I can support. It's not, I will still support you as a son or daughter, but I will not support this decision. And having a difference in opinion in decisions, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. My child doesn't need to agree with everything I tell him or everything that I tell her. I can differ with them, but they are not allowed to disrespect me. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean that my son or daughter can disrespect me or that I can disrespect them. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqi nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
people